Friendships are a void to inevitable disappointment. This is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. I am a very optimistic person. This is not coming from an individual who believes friends are fake. Any friends I have in my life, we typically have a pretty good understanding of where we're at. Everyone's style of what a friend is changes, right? The problem isn't having friends. It's the comfort of having one, but resisting the truth of why that friendship exists. We get obsessed with this term outgrowing. Really break down when someone says we outgrew each other. I guess you could apply that to a relationship with somebody, but a friendship where you outgrew each other. That means from the beginning, there were tabs being kept on each other, even if it was under the base of unconditional or we just like being around each other. In the back of our minds, whether we want to admit it or not, our friends groups is used as tabs. They're used as reminders as you move leveling up in life, that corny term that people use. When you level up in life, it is a gauge of where you stand. But where you stand isn't really by what others think of you. When you break it down, it's really more about how you feel about yourself. Are you someone that you are very aware of how others view you and you care about that? Or are you someone that you're just in the moment? You're not worried about how everyone views you as a success or a failure or what quantifies that. But we are creatures that we don't want to be associated with things that are deemed unattractive or invaluable. This is why the social status, even though I don't really like doing too much of that stuff, that's why it matters, when it comes to money, finances, social credibility. When it comes to social media, unfortunately, subscribers and views, it matters in terms of, do people deem what you talk about or what your content is as good or respectable? When there are plenty of people out there, you could apply this to views, you could apply this to people and how much they make. There's a lot of creators out there barely scraping a couple hundred views that make better objective and they are better speakers of what they talk about than people that do similar content that get 20 to 50k views. And it's just manipulative, garbage, repetitive. They are more pandering to an audience. It's the same with friends. It's the same with people that make money. There are people that are making impact in their community that sacrifice money by volunteering, by doing the work that isn't going to be put in newspapers, that isn't going to be posted on social media for donate to my GoFundMe to start my business, and no one fucking asked me. They're just out there doing the work, and they're getting paid minimum pay while struggling to get by, while raising a family. But to them, the satisfaction of being a valuable member to their community matters a lot more than, hey, how many people think I'm a valuable person to my community. I say this in the back too, we use the terms outgrew each other. I've got to say, I've never had anybody say that to me or vice versa. Someone's obsession with where they stand with you says a lot about what the reason for that friendship or relationship was to begin with. We love to use the term, we want to grow together. People think because you do different things or grow in your own ways that it equates to someone growing in a more fruitful way. There's temporary growth and then there's real long-term that's going to stick with you, that actually benefit the next generation of the family you raise type of growth. This is why relationships and friendships are an inevitable path to disappointment. And the only way not to be disappointed is to make the emphasis to yourself from, I want to be friends or be with this person. And I don't care about what they do for me or benefit me. I don't care if they are more successful on paper than me. I don't care if they accomplish more. I don't care if any of that. I just want to be with this person. I want to be friends with this person. But unfortunately, we all do care about what do we get out of it. And look, you don't want to be in a situation for extended periods of times where it feels like you're the only one giving. But sometimes we use someone's inability to give at a point in time as an excuse to kind of seek what else is out there, the 7-year itch. The grass is always greener. You gotta look at proximity. If you look at your history of how you meet women as a guy or whoever, notice that there's probably patterns of where you meet people. Most people, their friends are friends and people they end up dating. They meet them at their job, more times than not, school. And very rarely is it met in a genuine environment. There is always a condition of proximity, or people become friends through networking. Which means all of these situations were designed because you all have a similar incentive to benefit from each other in a way that is not always the genuine of heart. When you work with somebody, you're around someone long enough, it's human nature to, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes you'll do a lot of things to make, you want to be a good teammate. So you're extra nice and then you actually get to know somebody. And you're like, hey, you know what, actually, and you end up hanging with people because you're around them all day. And curiosity, it's like, shit. These are, I work 12 hours, 60 hours, like, where else am I going to meet people? That's why most people just fuck people they date, or they fuck people they work with. Then there's something unnatural if you do dating app sites, per se. Because in that scenario, it's like, we are on this app strictly just to meet each other. And typically, we all know why. When you when either the environment is designed to entrap your emotions and feelings to kind of have that Stockholm feeling syndrome, to where you're just around someone long enough, you'll either find things you like about somebody that you really don't, or you'll find things you don't like about people that you actually think are good people. You're around anybody long enough, you can convince yourself of anything. It's survival instinct. We lie to ourselves when it's 20, if you were homeless on the street and it's 30 degrees out, you will convince yourself that you'll be warmer than you are as a defense mechanism. Your body will respond in certain ways to prevent hypothermia from killing you too quickly. You will never, unfortunately, you're very rarely just gonna be out running errands one day at a Target, at a arts and crafts store, picking up shit. You run into somebody that you talk with as a friend, and then you talk for a little bit, and then after 20 minutes, you're like, hey, you know what? You should come hang out and we, watch Days of Our Lives together. Like, that's not happening. At least not in this day and age. We're all skeptical of people. Everyone thinks everyone's out to get them. Guys are afraid of child support. Women are afraid of getting impregnated by guys that will abandon them. Everyone is afraid of everybody. So now, more than ever, it's even more doomed because there's not even that optimism. We know the second we become friends with somebody, we are more worried about when is this going to end more than appreciating where we're at. And the reality is most people aren't comfortable enough with themselves, aren't actually confident enough in themselves They're more focused on the social aspect of how they benefit from a friendship or a relationship with somebody. That they realize, it's very apparent that it's a reflection that they realize they don't really have much to offer outside of this arbitrary status that they believe they have to offer. The term outgrew each other. It isn't quantifiable unless it was always about something self-serving to begin with. More friendships end unsaid. It's a passive endeavor. I'm not saying this to tell you to be friends with someone longer than you should be. You know, we all have boundaries, we all have trust issues, we all have line in the sand deal breakers, right? But most people, friendships don't end because of some dramatic thing. It's because we convince ourselves someone is less worthy of our time than before. That's, you know, the weird thing about the human mind is we convince ourselves of more drama. We convince ourselves of more problems than is really there to make our lives seem more interesting and to give this illusion that we're making progress as human beings. I think think about every person in your life that's a friend of yours. It is based off some incentive that both of you incentivize. Oh, you're at school all day? Well, you're incentivized that, you know, you don't want to be lonely at school, right? Whether that's college or whatever. You're at a job. You work somewhere long enough, you're going to make friends with people if you work there long enough. Just because, even if you don't really like people, unfortunately, people are social climbers. It just is what it is. There's networking. You go to networking events to expand your consumer business, your online profile. So then you focus on collabing. And behind this endeavor of being friends, it all started because you wanted to be business partners. Which, from the beginning in every type of friendship, we all claim we want people to love us unconditionally, but we lead our lives with every decision we make that nothing is unconditional with us, even under the illusion that we are. Unfortunately, it even stems with family, right? I'm fortunate enough that that's not the case with me, but there are plenty of people where there's a lot of entitlement where people feel like their parents owe them something and parents feel like their kids owe them something. And because of everything one did for the other at one point in time, it should be a natural exchange where that person wants to do more for you. They may not be in a position, but you can feel that if they could, they would. But that's where you get people that do the no contact with their family type of stuff, is because the second it's not beneficial to their mental health or their environment, it's easy to forget why you were even in a position to walk away to begin with. With friends, it's easy to point the finger. It's easy to blame when things get stagnant or stale. We think we've entered into a new era of life that we feel that others aren't worthy of. And really, through this process of how we view friendships, everything is an exchange. There is very little in this world. And the reason why people are more dead inside than ever, the reason why more people are so conditionalized, they're so worried about getting fucked over, they want all the benefits of marriage but not give anything themselves. They think if they just do this and this, then you know what? Then if you don't do this, I'm not going to do this. You know what? If you don't do this, I'm not going to do your laundry. And it's this petty back and forth. And you know what? These are grown people raising kids doing this stuff too. And that didn't start once they became parents. It's how you lead everything in your life. If you're worried about everything you do, with what do I get out of this, with every single thing you do, then that explains why you have the relationships you do. You are a leader of your world. As corny as that sounds, you're a leader of your environment. You're a leader of what you allow and what you're about. When we talk about as men being leaders by example and leading a family and all that good shit that I have no credibility to speak about, it means that you do things because you just do. You just want to. You realize not everything is about what benefits you in a moment. Unfortunately, we live in this being a lone wolf society. And as I've said, you know what? You should be comfortable being alone if you need be. But being alone should not be the goal just because you feel that other people are less than you. Be friends with who you want to be, and that's fine. But getting more convenient friends because they do the same thing you do, you're just repeating the same pattern of the previous situation and the situation before that. And it's just a convenient way of, we are friends because of the proximity, not because of who you are and what I really am. Just understand this is why friendships, they are just a spectacle. They're just a void of inevitable disappointment. So yeah. Meep meep.